I'm just kidding. This is all thanks to my dog Blue, because I was very tired, but he dragged me out. Blue, Blue, you want to come get in the camera? Blue, Blue. Lord, he don't listen to me. He responds and does what he wants, but I don't know, maybe he'll grace us with his presence. But basically, I haven't been getting much sleep uh, because of all the... Did you want to come get in the camera? Come here. Come here. Oh, Lord. He like, what? Come here. Oh, come on. Come on. He not coming. He think I'm finna play with him with a ball or something. Anyways, I've been like extended at night, up late, because the energies are very intense at night, and then in the daytime, I don't know, I feel energized and I want to get up, and then around like 2 or 3 o'clock I want to go to sleep, but then I have to do stuff at 2 or 3 o'clock, so I was just like and like not able to get as much stuff done as I would like to get done, because of all the mayhem going on. And so I was like, you know what, tonight I'm just relax and chill out, and that's what I was doing. And Blue was not having it. He was like, I want to go somewhere. So I was too tired to take him on a walk, and so I decided to take him on a joyride, as I call them, to a local like drive-through place where you get teas and stuff. I got a smoothie, and I got him a pup cup, and that made his day. That satiated him, so I didn't have to take him on a walk because I was too tired. And while I was driving there, a lot of stuff was able to come in. One of the main things was I was being hit with a lot of like negative thought patterns, and I don't know, like wanting me to hate my divine masculine, coming up with all these different reasons, kind of rephrasing these different scenarios and different events around our connection, and like molding them to make me hate him and to feel sad, and like trying to make me question, you know, if he's even my twin flame, or whether or not he's worth the love that I have for him. And I was just like, what? First of all, I've already done this a million times, like gone over everything, which is annoying in itself. But I was just like, I've already done this before, and I kind of want to give like an example of what happened today, that I feel like will connect. I don't know if I'll make sense today because everything is so intense, but I would try my best because I was called to do this. I felt it was really important for me, representing the divine feminine, to stand up and say something about this. And I'll probably be doing some light languages just to clear this, hopefully in your field, but certainly in my field, because I also feel like my ancestors, and also just like ancient wisdom and the ancient collective of the divine feminine is pissed about this kind of tactic by I would just say opposition, trying to, like, I don't know, weaponize the divine masculine against the divine feminine. And yeah, I had to come on here and say something. So basically, the little tapping that you hear, that's Blue with his nails on the floor. I was at work and I was getting ready to leave, and one of my students that comes there, she's so cute, she's adorable. She came in and she was like, "Hey, Miss da 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 da, your student's here." And she called me by the wrong name. She called me the name of the other black woman that works there at my job. And this was the second time that this has happened to me there. The first time was by an adult, which I know the adult was very embarrassed to have done that. But I've also had this happen different times in my life, as I'm sure many black people have, and I think in particular black women, but I would just say black people in general. And I also know that other people of color have experienced this too, because I have done this before to Asian women when I was in high school. That was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. So I don't want to hold too much judgment to people, but like I said, I know it has a point, it connects to this. And so she called me by the wrong name, and she was like, this little precious little baby. And then she walked to the front of the building, and she was talking with another teacher, and she was like, oh, I'm sorry, and like she walked away. And I was sitting there and I was like, oh, I'm so annoyed that this, type of racism keeps happening, and that it's so much programming in our reality that even children, I think she's like 7, have already processed to mark these differences subconsciously amongst people. Like, this is how black people are, and they're in this category, and kind of already squishing us together in kind of this group. But at the same time, I was like, I'm not gonna confront this child about this, because obviously I think it's too complex for her to understand. And so I was there and I was like, okay, I'm kind of upset that this has happened. But then I was also like, just let it go, it's fine. And I was finally packed up my stuff and I was walking out, and she was sitting in the little chair at the front desk, and she was like, Mr. Bria, I am so sorry that I called you the wrong name. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. And she was just so sweet. And it seemed like she understood how hurtful that was. Somehow, I don't know if somebody explained it to her, but she seemed really genuine. And I was like, it's okay. I know you only, you want to be kind all the time, and you're not intentionally trying to be mean. And she was just like, oh, she's so sorry. And so I feel that is the moral of everything I want to say today about the divine masculine. There's so much subconscious programming, and especially mental psychic attacks on the divine masculine, and in particular males, men, people identify as men. There's so much stuff that they're constantly being hit with that, and I know we all can relate to this, that, it's a reflex, and the stuff that comes out isn't always theirs. It's just stuff that they've absorbed. And I felt like today while I was driving to get my puppy's pup cup, I kept hearing like all these reasons to be mad, like for example, to be mad at the student. And I was like, you know what? She deserves forgiveness. Of course she does. And I feel like that's the same vibe that I feel for the divine masculine. It was just like this ploy, this tactic to try to get me to believe that he wasn't worthy, the divine masculine isn't worthy of forgiveness because they meant it. And my ancestors, my higher self stepped in and they were like, no, he didn't. The divine masculine loves the divine feminine. Obviously, that's something that I feel is very, very obvious. And it's something that the opposition will try to have you forget. Another thing, and thank you to all the people who have been talking about this. I would like to say Essene Rose Tarot on Instagram, as well as the Amberlight, as well as I believe Divine Feminine 777 on Instagram, and just everybody else. You know who you are. Thank you so much for commenting on this. Oh, excuse me. But yes, so back to the point. I wrote some notes over here because I might get sidetracked. So another thing is the idea of the karmic person, the Jezebel energy that comes in and it's the same thing, but just, in different ways, comes in and kind of manipulates the divine masculine, which in turn makes the divine feminine be betrayed. I saw this happen in the Little Mermaid movie with Halle Bailey. And it was so nice to see it in that way, where he was kind of put in a trance and she was just so happy, but she was just the Jezebel woman, what's her name, Vanessa? she was kind of like very happy in a very like self-obsessed way, very much based in ego, whereas I feel like the divine feminine, if she were in a room with the divine masculine, she'd be staring at the divine masculine. Whereas the Vanessa character from Little Mermaid, she was like all about herself and staring at herself in the mirror. And I really loved how they did that. And like I said, tonight I was being pressured to really kind of be upset at the divine masculine for being dumb enough to fall for that. And I was guided to something else that was in my field, so hopefully this connects as well. So basically, as I've mentioned several times, I have a lot of issues with my digestive system, and I know for sure that this has been me like healing a lot of ancestral wounds, curses, and stuff to do with the womb, and my whole life. Shout out to Orange Calcite. And so I was blessed enough to be gifted a nice blender. It's a very fancy blender for my birthday, because my family knows that I've been making a lot of juices by hand using fruits and vegetables in order to clear out my digestive system in a way that is that's like not chemical. Like, you know, the pills and stuff are like a lot of chemicals in there, so I try to do it very naturally. And the other day, I don't know when, it was definitely earlier this week as I'm recording this, I went to the grocery store and I picked up fruit. Before, I usually would get like vegetables and stuff, and I'll try to keep this short, but I got fruit. I got peaches that were already here in the refrigerator, and I got some mangoes, like 3 mangoes, and I got some apples, and I couldn't get ginger because they didn't have like the single ginger thing. So anyways, I got those, and so for like the 3 days following that, I was drinking like the mango smoothies. And then when I would go to sleep, or when it was time for me to go to bed, my stomach would be like crazy bloated, like, and I would be like, what the hell did I eat? It would be painfully bloated, which is the reason why I've already made so many adjustments to what I eat, because I have these digestive issues, and I was upset. Because once you're bloated like that, it's really hard to like get rid of it, especially when it's in the middle of the night. You can't really go to the store. And finally, I was sitting in my bed and I was like, Spirit, please help me like heal myself. And I was just thinking about the stuff that I'd eaten, and I was like, what's new that I've like recently implemented? And I was like, the mangoes. And so I decided to go on Google and I looked up mangoes. I was like, can mangoes cause bloating? And it was all these articles that popped up about how mangoes, like people need to be careful about mangoes, like the truth about mangoes. If you eat too many, they can cause bloating, for some people diarrhea, uncomfortable pressure in the abdomen, I think that's what it's called. And I was like, wow, the whole time I was eating these mangoes thinking that it was good for me, and it was messing me up even worse than before, thinking I'm getting a cleanse. And the mango, I don't know why I want to show you this, but I wrote it here, mango. The mango is the same color as the orange calcite. It's the same color as the sacral chakra. It's a Jezebel. It's a Jezebel, you know. And what was interesting, so today I finally randomly went to this banh mi shop that I've been seeing for like years in my community, and I never like took the time to go. And today I was trying to go and get like dessert from this place, but all the parking spots were taken, and I was like, you know what, I'll just go park at this banh mi place and I'll get one for dinner. And I went in there, and one of the wings flavors that they had was called Alabama, and I'm from Alabama. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then the owner ended up being from Alabama too, so that was nice. But the Alabama flavor underneath the wing flavor Alabama, like they name what it is, how it tastes. It was Tango Mango. And I was like, what? And so that connects in again to like the mango being harmful for my digestive system, and then directly connected to where I'm from, my literal ancestry of Alabama. But back to my point about the Jezebel, the mango is the same color as the orange calcite. It's the same color as the sacral chakra, but it sucks and it's not good for me at all. And it took me time to realize that, like, once you are in that pain and uncomfortableness, after a while you realize it. And this has allowed me to have a different perspective and sympathy for the divine masculine, kind of being tricked, if you will, by the Jezebel energy. And I mean, like, the karmic, the fake pretend divine feminines, the fake feminines who come in. You know, you think you're doing something right, you think it's good for you, and then once you really pay attention to the signs, because I'm pretty sure if I would have, like, gone into the grocery store and not been anxious as I usually am in the grocery store. You can come up here. Why do you keep whining? Come on. This is Blue. He's very lonely. I don't know why. Oh, thank you. Okay. Look, you finally in the camera. All right. It's okay. But yes, that allows me to have understanding and sympathy with the divine, with the divine masculine, because I was tricked too. Like, that's what I was saying. If I would have gone into the grocery store and it wouldn't have been all these people's energies that I'm already trying to, like, protect myself from, because I'm an empath and I absorb everybody's stuff, then I would have noticed and I would have felt something and paid attention to that nudge, because I did get one and it was like, you sure you want to get 3 mangoes? And I was like, yeah, I'm getting 3 mangoes. It's just mangoes. Like, what's the worst that could happen? If I would have paid attention to my intuition, but it was so many people there, and I'm just like, I don't want to stay here making decisions. I just want to get in and get out. And I feel like that is, like, metaphorically or maybe literally how much the divine masculine is kind of attacked and constantly surrounded by, like, so much societal stuff that they're often blocked or not really able to hear their intuition all that well until the aftermath. And I feel like the aftermath is, I don't know, where we're at now. I feel like the divine masculine is awakening, has awakened, is in a phase where they have realized again, because this ain't the first time, it's the last time, they've realized again, oh shit, this mango has been poisoning me. And I feel like this is when, because obviously after you realize that you've done something wrong, the thing that you're going to do is try to correct it and fix it. And so because the ops know that, it's been a lot of, like, push for interference, while at the same time there's been more light codes, more source light, more ascension happening to, like, I don't know, eradicate that. So it's like these forces against each other at the same time, but in actuality, obviously the ascension side is winning, because what the ascension side does, the light side does, it doesn't fight away the shadow. It doesn't try to destroy it. It acclimates it. And this is what I was saying in my most recently, what was it called, 1, 2, 3, 4, We've Made It, or something like that. I did a collective energy update, and I was describing the Cheaper by the Dozen, and the reason why they won at the end is because they got the opposition to join their side. And that's why the superheroes always win in, like, the Marvel movies. That's what I like to think whenever I see superhero movies. I'm like, the reason that they win is because they're not alone. The opposition is always very self-centered and focused on a single goal and very linear, and that is not strong enough to go against a group of people with, you know, different I don't know, things, like a rainbow, like different colors of one going in the same direction will be more powerful than one color going in the opposite direction every time. But like I was saying, the Ascension team side is winning because it doesn't try to eradicate the shadow. It brings it, it joins them into their team. I hope this is making sense. If it's not, just take it what it means, what you feel energetically, because what I'm saying, it's all activating something within you. I called in these to be light codes today. I called in these messages to be very high in frequency. So regardless of whether or not you don't know what I'm saying, you will be feeling, you'll pick up on it energetically. What else? So light language has been something that has been more and more pushed forward into my reality, more and more encouraged by spirit. Right now, I keep getting glimpses of the movie Norbit. I think it's because I kind of look like Eddie Murphy in that movie. And yeah, so I'll speak on that because I feel like it's coming through rather than like stay like, I don't know, in a straight line of my notes. So I feel like what all of us are going through, but especially the divine feminine and perhaps the divine masculine with all of us, is this feeling of like leaving behind the shame and leaving behind limiting ourselves. I know a lot of times in my life I've felt like I've said too much, or people don't want to listen to me, so I should try harder, or like over explain myself, like I mentioned in my last cosmic energy collective update. Like not wanting to share and speak up your voice. And I know that's been happening with a lot of us where we're taking leaps and we are speaking up for the first time in our lives. But I will say, for example, in the movie Norbit, because that's what I'm getting. If you've not seen it, it's a movie with Eddie Murphy. It's hilarious. There's a lot of fat phobia in there. So if you are triggered around something like that, I would say, you know, be prepared, because there's a lot of fat phobia in that movie. But basically, Norbit is his character. And his family tossed him out of the car as soon as he was born and like donated him to this orphanage. And so his whole life, he always felt kind of unwanted, and therefore he kind of just went with anything anybody had to offer him. He accepted it. He was grateful for it. And so when Rasputia came around, who I would say is kind of representative of that Jezebel energy, whereas Kate, who was his best friend while he was in the orphanage, would represent the divine feminine. Kate, the divine feminine, in a sense, she moved away. And, you know, that triggered his abandonment issue, I would say, again. And so when he went off to school without Kate, when Rasputia, the Jezebel energy, came around, and she was like, I want you, you're coming with me. She literally said that, like, get up. But she was like, Norbit, do you have a boyfriend? And do you have a girlfriend, Norbit? And he was like, no. And she was like, well, you do now. Get your ass up and hold my hand. And she was very forceful, very like, you're coming with me. You're mine. Very possessive. And I see these same dynamics reflected in a show that I love called Heartstopper on Netflix, but I'm being called to do Norbit as an example. So yeah, and he ended up, you know, never really speaking up for himself, never really saying anything, just going with Rasputia and her family. They belittled him all the time. He worked for them at their construction site, and he was just like this little person at a desk, didn't really say much. And that was going to be his life. You know, he got married to her, and that was it. He never really got to express himself. His throat chakra was very blocked. And then Kate, the divine feminine representative for this case, came back into his life, I think to like rebuy the orphanage, and that like woke him up and activated him. And so it's the same thing in the twin flame connection. They meet, you know, or they become aware of each other, and it shifts, and suddenly you see Norbit like lying to Rasputia and getting out of different things that he'd promised before, and he tries to get his hair done, and he goes on a big slide for the first time in his life, and you see like this tug of war between him, you know, feeling the need to kind of bow down and obey to the Jezebel energy, and him wanting to, because with the divine feminine, you can't bow down. You have to stand up and be on your own. You have to be yourself. And, you know, so it was a battle between being himself and bowing down to what he'd always known. Oh, is there anything else that you want me to say? How you want me to word this? So I think I'll just kind of skip to the end. So in the end, he ends up like running away from the Jezebel energy, and she literally almost kills him and his family. It's a comedy, so it's funny. And he goes and he like stops the wedding that the Divine Feminine Kate was about to be in. But like he has to continue the whole time to stand his ground. It's a continuous effort. And it's what I was saying in my 1, 2, 3, 4 collective energy update of like you can't have your heart closing and open with this green shirt that I'm wearing. It was very intentional. I felt called to wear this one. You have to have it open at all times. He had to continue to be himself, because the moment that he bowed down and cowered, that presence of Rasputia would swoop in and like capture him and enslave him once again. And that's what I feel called to share. I feel like, I don't know, that's exactly what's happening. But I will say, in the end, Rasputia ended up being hit with a, I don't know what the weapon is called, but Norbit's basically his adoptive dad, who was the owner of the orphanage. He ended up throwing this kind of staff thing towards her, like the thing that people used back in the day to like kill whales. And I know this was on The Way of Water, the second Avatar movie, when they killed that whale creature. It's not called a whale, but whale creature. They like threw that thing, and it like, I don't know, it landed on Rasputia and it shot her. And I've been seeing a lot of imagery of whales. I got the whale and the orca card last night. And so it's like the elder, the whale, is being like reinstated as like the leader of the ocean, which I also feel is the whale is representative of the heart chakra, of the throat chakra, because I've been seeing a lot of blue and greens, but it's this feeling of like, I don't know, I feel like whales in a big way represent the divine feminine, I feel. But again, you know, it's always both. But I would say represent the divine feminine in the sense that like they aren't super duper cherished, you know, in, I would say, the general public. Like nobody's like, oh my God, like whales. Like we don't learn about the ins and out of whales in schools. And, you know, we hear stories about like Moby Dick, and a lot of whale hunting went on for a long time. I think they were endangered. Are they still endangered? But a lot of people killed the whales, and that's how I feel like the divine feminine has been hunted down for millennia, for what she knows, for the keys and codes that she carries, and for her song. Because the divine feminine, I feel like, has always had a very a very open throat chakra, I think, especially in comparison to the divine masculine. And I saw at the Amber Light, she posted today about why is the blueprint blue, and she said it's because it's the truth. And so I feel like the divine feminine, she holds those blueprints that are able, just like Kate in the Norbit movie, to activate and wake up the divine masculine and get him to start being himself and open up his throat chakra as well. And when you have those harmonies, especially between the divine masculine and feminine, sound creates everything. You know, sound creates reality. Those are the keys, literally the keys and codes to creating reality. And so the divine masculine has always been kind of pushed and targeted, you know, back away from the divine feminine. The divine feminine has been haunted and slain because of, I feel like, her ability to still speak up even in the absence of that divine masculine energy, even though, again, they're always the same, so it's not really an absence. But I hope what I'm saying makes sense. I'll try to say it again. The divine feminine, I feel, has always been able to still have that open throat chakra and still know the truth, even when the divine masculine is like away from her. And so she's slain for that. And the divine masculine, when he is with, and I say he in terms of the energy, with the divine feminine, is able to complete those sacred blueprint codes for creating reality. And so he's been kind of, constantly moved and pushed and blocked and targeted and tricked and jinxed away from the divine feminine. And I say all of this to say, I say this with a smile on my face now, because now I feel that it's very obvious that this game is running no more. This program is done with. I don't know how more obvious it could be. I feel like everybody feels this. Everybody's commenting on it all the time. One thing that I do want to say is about time. When I see all these posts about time, it irritates me. But then I got some really good advice from Ramona Lappin about, when you see these things and these people saying always in the future, if you're seeing it now in your present reality, that means that those energies are available to you now. I also saw the Energy Alchemist, I believe that's their name, on Instagram and on YouTube. She was saying the same thing about the 8-8 portal. She was asking, Blue! She was asking she was asking her listeners to remember that the 8-8 portal does not define them. You are the reason that the 8-8 portal works. You're the reason why it's so potent. It's you. It's always you. And you exist outside of the boundaries of time. You don't have to wait for anything to tell you it's time or tell you when something is ready to happen. Of course, divine alignment exists, but that's what I'm saying. It's divine alignment more so than it is divine timing. So I implore you to really free yourselves from any constraints and limitations in terms of what you think has to happen when, or a certain date, or when this and this and this match up. Because if we're talking quantumly, we're talking on the scale of the God consciousness, of the one consciousness, which we always ultimately are, then these factors are extremely minuscule as well as substantial. It's always both, and it's neither at the same time. Like, it's not this date or that date, and yet these dates are significant. I feel like what I'm saying would make more sense if you've seen the movie Arrival, or you just might know what I'm talking about. But the movie Arrival with Amy Adams, this alien species introduced her to this new way of language that was very circular rather than linear, and it was based on images, and one image could be like a whole sentence. This shape could be a whole thing, and so you get past, present, and future done in one conversation or one saying. Is really hard to describe, I would say, but that's what I mean when I talk about time, when I talk about how it's neither but also both. Okay, this has been a lot. Abundance is here. That's my next thing. Abundance is here. I will say that I have been very scared because I was asked to, work less and not do so many things that, are 3D, that like lead to money. And ever since I've done that and trusted my advice, I will say that things have miraculously happened for me. It has not been, my dream life come into materialization yet, but I will say that the abundance is here, and that there is no need to fear when you are in alignment with what you know to be the truth. And I send out strength, I send out hugs to all the people out there who have been taking these leaps in the name of truth, in the name of love, in the name of saving everybody else, which is, just saving yourself. But, I like to joke around with words. But basically, uh, what I mean, I wrote this song called The Crazy Girl, and it's like the crazy girl's gonna save you now. Keep the ship from falling down. It's like you have to be the one that's crazy in an insane world to really, I don't know, wake everybody else up to the truth of what they deserve. I've mentioned this before. I feel like people have a very low standard of what they expect. I don't think people really expect much from life because we're all kind of trained again and taught to settle. We're also taught, like I was saying about the divine masculine in my 1, 2, 3, 4 energy update reading, about how especially men are targeted and shown like this is what you want. And even women too, like you want this type of body, you want to live in this kind of place, you want a husband, you can't be queer. You want your life to look like, you know, you drive a minivan and you go pick up your kids from soccer practice, or even that you want kids, you know, all these messages and stuff. And basically thank you to everybody who's been taking these leaps to wake up everybody. Thank you for being willing to be the crazy person in an insane world, okay? But the abundance is here. It's here. And don't let the fear fool you. Keep going. Spirit is with you every step of the way. And they got you. Next. I think I've already talked about ancestral wounds. A lot of stuff has been coming up with the ancestors, especially around indigenous people. I will say this, so as I've said many times, I've been watching the first Alaskans on Disney Plus, and I really like how they direct that show. And I thought it was very curious when they were showing like the indigenous people picking up their guns and like shooting at a bird or something in the tree. And I thought this looks very American. It looks like what they show in a lot of American films, a lot of Western films. It looks very Texan, very Tennessee, like, you know, this person holding this gun to shoot at an animal, but it's completely different. And I was like, oh, this is a distortion. This is a distortion, because the indigenous people that they show in the first Alaskans series, they are very respectful of the land. They're very respectful of what I've heard them call the creator. They understand that they're very grateful for anything they catch. Anytime they catch anything, they immediately say thank you. They thank the animal, they thank creator. They're just it's very sacred, and it's very in balance. And everybody on the show is extremely aware of that balance that needs to harmonize between all of life. And when you look at like a lot of like what people typically see is like American, you know, films or American people with guns, it's always very violent. It's very imbalanced. People, you know, hunting for sport, hunting for fun, using guns to shoot each other. And I was like, the indigenous people, they are the first Americans. They are what Americans originally looked like, Native Americans. And it's been a huge like distortion. I thought it was such a clever way to kind of show and reflect what's been distorted amongst, you know, human beings general or on a larger scale, especially when you think about, like I say all the time, we come from abundance. We're natural manifestors. We're naturally eternal, immortal. We don't get sick. We don't die. We don't, you know, have all these things. We're naturally very, very abundant, very high frequency beings, but it's been so much distortion. And yet you can still see like the roots of where we come from if you really feel into it, and if you are willing to look around. Like the story is there very clearly, and I really liked how it was shown in the show. I'm trying to decide now. I definitely want to get some messages from the divine masculine. They're definitely calling me to get some, but I'm trying to see if I should do the activation of like the protection of the light language now or at the end? I think I might do it at the end, but I'm also being called to just do it throughout. Okay. So, what does the divine masculine actually want to say? How do they actually feel about the divine feminine? Because like I said, tonight, I got a lot of lies. A lot of lies trying to convince me that my divine masculine like doesn't love me and like just wanted to manipulate me and wanted to like hurt me. I don't know why my dog is whining. He's such a baby. Blue, come here. Come here. He's upset. Blue. I don't know. Let him be. There's definitely been a lot of like longing and missing between the twins, but I don't know, I've been seeing a lot of like confessions in the content that I've been shown. There's been a lot of confessions. Like one of the things I saw was like somebody saying the reason I didn't say I love you back is because I felt like there's no way you could possibly love the real me. So it'd be a lie, you know. You'd be inadvertently lying because I was hiding, withholding things from you. And the other person was like, you know, I love you. It's not the things about you that I love you. And that's how it is between the twins. That's how it is between Source. That's how it is between God and all of us. It's not, you know, whether or not you like the color red or you like the color blue. It's not whether or not you like the summer or the winter. You are loved for your soul. Your soul. Now, you know, that's it. And that's not something that could be deceitful. Say again. All right, one more shuffle. And I meant one more shuffle of 3 pairs of 3. Always for these Rumi Oracle cards, it's always 3. Now, what would the divine masculine like to truly say to the divine feminine? No, we have 3 cards. The bottom of the deck is 41, which is a huge number for me and my twin flame, and it says Victory of Miriam. Victory! So my title, which I channeled, is correct. The divine masculine is awakening, has awakened, and victory is here. Oh, look who decided to come back. Hey, Blue. Are you done being sad? Huh? Are you done? I can't hold you. This is more than 3 cards. Lord of mercy. Which ones? Hey, I feel like those are going to be... I don't know. Come on. Come on. Lord. All right, so we have number 11. Sacred Convergence. So this is the physical, but like this is the real merging of the divine masculine and feminine energies. And what I just heard is nothing can stop this. Nothing can stop this. It's a magnetism. Like, imagine trying to stop 2 magnets, like once they're close together. It's a natural law. There's nothing that could come between. There's nothing that could demagnetize the twin flames once, you know, they're drawn together. And this is, you know, what I mean when I say anytime the androgynous person, the androgynous human, the androgynous starseed, whatever you'd like to call it. I got a lot of messages about androgyny a while ago. But basically, it's the merging of the divine masculine, divine feminine energies in a sacred union, and it's really being emphasized to me to state that there is nothing that can stop this. There is nothing that can get in the way. There is nothing that could interfere, muck with this. It's a natural process. It's like, what's an example? What's another example? It's like trying to stop like space from spacing. It's like it's like trying to like stop a river from flowing. It's like you can build a dam all you want, but eventually the water's gonna go back to the sea, like one way or another, whether if it has to evaporate, it'll rain back down. Or I also just feel like eventually that dam is just gonna break. It's no way that you can, maintain that for forever. It can't. Eventually the water has to break and it's gonna go back to the sea, and this is that. And like I said, it's only ever a matter of time. And since time does not really exist, outside of, this, like it was never even a thing. It was always a dream, which is something that I've heard a lot of people say, like, this is a dream, that's time. It was never, it's a thought that occurred. It's a manifestation of the mind, that kind of eluded you to even think that it was stalled. It's a trick, but like I said, all of this has been divine. Dreams are your creation. They come from somewhere. They deliver you something. They show you something. And I feel like we're in a space now, or hopefully I'm in a space, we're in a space now where we can understand and value the dream for what it is, something that was never going to stop the water from returning to the sea, the river from flowing, and also something that we can kind of detach from and therefore erase, or therefore not erase, but like forgive and release. I feel like one of the things that kind of maintains that illusion is fear of that illusion. Like, the longer you keep worrying or fearing about something or believing in something, the longer it has to exist, because nothing exists without your attention to it. It isn't real if you don't perceive it. And so one of the tricks that the ops use to keep you perceiving it is to get you to fear it. Does that make sense? Anyways, can't be stopped. That's the message of this. As well as the victory card. Don't forget about that one. Oh, underneath that one it says the right choice. And then underneath that is this Sacred Union card. And then underneath that is the one. I feel like I could go on forever and ever, but we'll leave it at that. The right choice. I'm hearing this is the message, especially for the divine masculine, now that they've like kind of decided to return and awaken. Like, that's the right choice. So, ooh, I've never gotten this one before. I don't think I've gotten the Sacred Convergence either, but this is number 18, and it says a new gown. Ooh. I think I'm gonna read this one. It's very pretty. I feel called to read it, and that's what I'm gonna do. My legs need to be like stretched. This is long. It's a long video. Jeez Louise. All right, I got time. I got time today. 18. I've been seeing number 18 a lot. I've been seeing a lot of numbers a lot. Okay. To remind you, 18, a new gown. Weary and consumed by weary and consumed by longing, but also loving, I was caressed by my beloved last night. My wounded soul was set free when I tasted the sweetness of love. My spirit was lifted at once. I surrendered my life while overflowing with joy, and my vision was filled with light. Love said, "Don't feel so hopeless, my weary and gloomy one, for my generosity is beyond forgetting of those devoted to me. See how boundless divine justice can be. Behold my immeasurable kindness." Love embraced my spirit, and all my doubts vanished at once. A new and glorious robe of honor was placed on my shoulders. Love offered me the power of new vision and the transforming touch of divine generosity, and placed the chalice of eternal wine in my hand. Rumi. My candle kind of flickered. I feel like this poem was about, this is messages from the divine masculine, and so this poem was telling us about how the divine feminine came to them in their dream, or in their energy field, and told them that their love is boundless. So the divine feminine, and I've seen this and I've been irritated by this sometimes, but the divine feminine goes first. She stood up first, she reclaimed her power first, she took the leap first, and because she took that leap, it's like she whispered, and I mean the energy, not a gender, she whispered in the divine masculine's ear, like, "I'm ready, like, wake up." And so now we're about to read. So it says, "I have the perfect gift for you. It is a gown of new colors, of colors perfectly suited to you and no other. The colors of this gown will make your eyes sparkle and gleam as though they were more beautiful than the most precious of gems. The colors of this new gown will make your skin seem luminous as if lit from within. For of course it is, beautiful angel. Your complexion is radiant with the light of life. Your hair will shine with luster, and your entire being will be complemented by this gown as it enhances your beauty in all ways. So hold on no longer to that shabby, tattered cloak so unworthy of you. Cast it off. Let me grace your shoulders now with this royal robe instead, that you may shine beautifully as befits a royal child of divine parentage." So what I was hearing, even with this gown in the different colors, was that song by Dolly Parton, where like her jacket of many colors. You know what I'm talking about? Because Dolly Parton grew up poor, very, very poor. And like her mother or somebody like knitted her a jacket or something, or a blanket out of like different quilts or something. People at my job mentioned Dolly World. It was mentioned about Dolly Parton today, and so I feel like that song, but I'm also getting like, like I was saying earlier about Norbit, it's like his environment convinced him that he was like worthy of sitting in that shabby construction site building, like that's where he belonged. But he was a king, and this is the divine masculine is a king who like got convinced that he was like supposed to be like this lowly person. So I'll keep reading. "Ah, beloved, if you could only see the incredible gift, the symbolic robe being offered to you now, your fears would quake and tremble, disappearing more quickly than you could imagine. Your heart would take wings and become so light your entire being would lift clean off the ground and soar like an angel bird amongst the playground of Divine Mother's skies. Yet, like a young one, so much younger than your years and wisdom warrant, you may hold onto your tattered robes as though they were a security blanket. Though you know it is time to let go, you may take pause and have a moment of doubt. You may wonder if the new robes will descend swiftly enough, or that without what you have known to cling on to, you will be left stark naked, exposed, and vulnerable. These thoughts are not worthy of your status, but perhaps you are yet to realize you are of the most sublime royal lineage, that you are worthy of a cloak of galaxies, a crown of scars turned to stars, a body of sacred earth, and a voice of stirring music. You may be craning your neck to see who it is that can bestow permission upon you to receive a gift of such divinity, in whom is such authority vested that you may no longer be as the beggar asking for scraps and contenting yourself with stale crumbs. You may simply decide to shed that, stand up, to walk, with your head held erect and with regal grace, and assume your place at the table of divine feasting. Remember that your royal birth certificate is stamped in your heart. There was no authority required, no permission to be granted. Excuse me. You are what you are already and always have been thus. All that is required from you is to realize it and to release it, I heard. This oracle comes to you with sacred portent. You are fast approaching a moment of great leap, an evolutionary shift on your spiritual path. Your sense of yourself and your divine identity is about to be revealed and realized in a way more potent than ever before. This is wonderful. It is a divine happening. You must allow it. Do not confuse humility with humiliation. Do not humble yourself excessively. You do not have to battle with false pride either. Simply honor yourself as a living being worthy of life, worthy of this royal path of divine realization. What a gift it is to cast aside belief in inferiority or superiority, and helpful as those notions are for you now. What a gift instead to embrace your own path, irrespective of what any other may think, whether they hold it in glory or desertion. Derision? Who cares? Not you, nor I. Your royal heritage has been revealed, and in seeing the divinity within yourself, you become blessed to see it in all beings. All beings return to the realization of royalty within. Crazed searching outside the heart will come to an end. A simple golden path will be found, as though a river of molten gold flows from your heart back to the oceanic heart of the great beloved, where united again, you finally ascend your throne and claim your divinity once and for always. Once and for always. This oracle comes with sacred guidance for you. You are stepping into empowerment in a new way, and it is being honored. Do not allow yourself to be dragged into dramas or power games. You are worth so much more than that. You are tapping into your inner dignity, and others may not know how to respond. Some will respond with love and acknowledgement, others with fear and judgment, calling you too big for your boots or high and mighty. Those are voices of fear, not truth. Be in your dignity and power and keep going. It is the divine that urges you thus, not the ego. Do not doubt the changes happening within you now. Embrace them. If you want, you can follow this sacred honoring ritual. I can't talk. Okay. Place your hands very lightly upon the top of your head. Say aloud, I cast aside lesser crowns. Open your hands up to the heavens and say aloud, I receive the royal gown descending through grace. Slowly and gently guide your hands down from over the top of your head along your body, as though drawing a royal robe over your head, allowing your hands to gently touch the floor, as though the robe completely covers you. Sit comfortably and visualize or intend that the most beautiful gown of many colors surrounds you. You may or may not be aware of the colors. You may see layers of shimmering lights, stars, roses, or more. You may hear the gown singing like a choir of angels or gurgling as though it is a fountain of liquid gold. Let it be as it is for you, as subtle or powerful as it wishes to be. Whatever happens for you is perfect. When you are ready, simply open your eyes, place your hands in a prayer position, and bow your head. You have finished your sacred honoring ritual. Yay! And the next page is, can you see? Sacred union. So, obviously, I felt a lot of resonancy with this as, like I said, representing the divine feminine today. The divine feminine is often, especially, just in general, women, feminine people are like, stop, encouraged to be like super humble, and stop thinking you're so cool, and squat down like the little woman you are, little girl you are, little girl child. But I just love this, how it was for all of us, and it was beautiful. Thank you so much, Rumi, and thank you, Alana Fairchild, for these messages. I think we'll do a little more. divine masculine wants to have a bit of fun and share these messages. They feel really, I don't know, really good now. I feel like now that they've been like recognized and seen, like I was saying earlier, like a lot of times when, I don't know if I said this earlier, a lot of times when I'm getting like hit with all these attacks to like be mean to my divine masculine and to hate him, it's usually a time when he's receiving a lot of, you know, inner hate or like encouragement to hate himself. And it's like when I stop like participating and feeding that energy, like it makes him feel better. Like it makes him, you know, believe in himself, that I believe in him, and like saw past that that strategy. And it makes him happy. It's like, thank you. Thank you, divine feminine. And I think I'll get, no, they said no. The divine feminine, they're saying you don't have to be the one. Because I was going to ask if I should get messages for, like, from the divine feminine to them. They were like, no, today you can just be the receiver. You don't have to give. Alright, bottom of the deck is, yeah. My mother, father is involved. This was the bottom of the deck earlier, even though I just shuffled it a lot. It's still the bottom of the deck. So this was in my notes with the ancestral wounds. A lot of like having to deal with wounds around their parents. I think for somebody watching this video, your divine masculine, if you're not the divine masculine watching this video, has like one of their parents died, and so there's like I was saying with Norbit, like he didn't have any parents in his life, so that, you know, they could have died, or he was adopted, or they were adopted. They didn't have, so it's like a lot of people watching this will like their person will have like, you know, living parents, but I'm getting this message, but that some didn't. So there's like this gap there of not having parents, and I feel like because of that, like I was saying with Norbit, like they tend to settle for less a lot. There was never really anybody leading them, and so they kind of had to lead themselves, or so they thought. I feel like really they were just being led to like whichever place they thought was safe. And with you, I feel like they knew that it wasn't going to be like safe in the sense of like, it's this feeling of like if they would have just, you know, been with you and, you know, chosen you, even though, you know, you're always in union, you could have left them, and it would have, excuse my French, it would have fucking killed them. Like just obliterated them. And so that's what they mean by they went with a safer choice, because it's like, even if the other person, you know, this trickster Jezebel energy left them, they would have been okay, you know. But if you left them, you know, even if it wasn't your choice, like if you know, passed away or something, or, you know, moved on from this physical life, they wouldn't have been able to go on. And so that's why it's safer to choose somebody else. It's a very emotional message for somebody watching this video from your divine masculine. I feel like with the divine masculine who does have alive parents, this message is slightly different. It's this feeling of like, I think them almost wanting to like spare you from the parts of their parents that are in them, because I feel like they saw how their parents were and like how toxic or whatever their parents were, and they knew that those traits were in them. I'm hearing some people literally inherited inherited mental illnesses, or they believe they did. I know for sure one of them is bipolar disorder. I'm hearing now, or just like manic episodes, or like just this kind of like loud kind of mental illness where they kind of shout and stuff. Like one of them is saying that, and this is for the living parents, that they inherited, or they feel like they inherited that from their parents, and they don't want you to be the victim of that. So they'd rather keep you at a distance and like be with somebody else who they wouldn't be like disappointed, in them. Let me give like a better breakdown. I didn't expect this to be so deep. Oh my God. I don't know if you can hear my dog. He's like so devastated that my parents aren't here. Like I'm not enough. It's not enough that I'm here. It's okay, Blue. It's okay. Okay. And parents again. But it's this feeling of of like they don't want to see the look in your eye when they display those character traits like from their parents, those toxic character traits, and they have to look at you in your eye after they've had like this episode and like see you cry and see you being disappointed in them. Like they can take that disappointment in somebody else's eyes, but they can't take it in you. It's reminding me of that line from the Jay-Z, his 444 album, where he was like, when I saw the innocence leave your eyes, I still mourn this death. And like when he saw like his wife, like that he took away her, like that hope she had in like true love, and because he hurt her, he betrayed her, and he had to watch like that reaction when she found out. Yeah. That's what it is, connected to the parents. So it's those two messages from the deceased parents, or like the adopted person, and also the parents with mental illness. Okay. Yes, Bubba? Yes? Are you okay? It's okay, Bubba. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I don't want to play right now. You can come sit, but I'm going to play. Okay. Missing you more every day. So this is definitely, I know everybody can feel this. A lot of longing, a lot of missing for the twins. And this green, the heart chakra. I used to be able to feel when my twin and I were close together, our hearts would like synchronize. And so you might be feeling like changes in the pace of your heart. And I feel like that's because it's syncing up with theirs. I will never forget you. So I feel like they're replaying a lot of memories in their heads right now. Even if you and your person don't have a lot of like physical memories in this lifetime, it's plenty. In other lifetimes, it's plenty in other realities. Excuse me. They might even still be like when you go to sleep, or even when you're awake, astrally projecting to like new earth, the higher frequency earth right now where you're together. And when they wake up in this reality, they remember those memories. And it's like this reel of like nostalgia playing in their minds, or even daydreams of what they would like with you, which, the daydreams are really just things that have already happened and are happening. This looks like, this reminds me of like the penny, the president. I think it's Abraham Lincoln. So I don't know, maybe a lifetime during when Abraham Lincoln was alive, and perhaps even when he was president. I'm tired of fighting. I'm coming home. So this is what I was saying tonight. The divine masculine has been fully activated. I don't care, you know, what happens or what doesn't happen physically or materially. This is true. This is the message that I got, and I don't, spirit never lies. It's impossible. This is the truth. This is something that is here. And I do also feel that it's manifesting in a very physical, material way, one way or another. And like I said, this is the reason why there's like interference. It's not really interfering anything, but you know, that's the reason why if you hear these thoughts, if you feel tension, or if you randomly feel anxiety, it's the ops, like it's the negative alien agenda, like being afraid because, you know, when Papa comes home and like unites with Mama Bear, it's like, you know, Goldilocks got to get out. I don't know if that even makes sense, and I know the same one's kind of, you know, very heteronormative, but it's fine. Earpiece. Yeah, I feel like one of the gifts that is coming online for the divine masculine is I think it's called clairaudience, but like being able to psychically hear. This is one of my strongest talents that I have. I hear a lot of things from source, from spirit, the ear. And I feel like I said, it's like when I'm in the grocery store and there's like so many people around, it's hard to hear my intuition, you know, this source. But now the divine masculine, their earpiece is activated, is coming online, and so they can, you know, hear the truth. Yeah, and I feel like one of the things is like they have to hear the truth from themselves for it to like really hit them, and then like they'll be able to like speak it out. Okay, you have My Flame Is Still Burning for You. A lot of these cards are green. My Flame Is Still Burning for You. I feel like this is fairly obvious. Twin flames. If you see the word flame, this is very important. I recently heard a song called Twin Flame. It's like you're their high priestess and they just remembered. It's this feeling with this card of like, they just remembered that you were their high priestess, and it's like, oh shit. I don't know, I'm getting like imagery from like books and movies of like somebody who got like the divine masculine like lost their memory, and they're like, oh shit, like I have a wife, I'm married. This was in the show, it's called, what's it called? It's not called Tenant, it's called something else. It's with Priyanka. Does the person watching, do you know the name of it? It's on Amazon Prime, and it's with Priyanka. I don't know her last name, but she's married to Nick Jonas, and it's called, I can't think of it. It starts with a T though. In that show, like there was a lot about memory loss, and this is spoilers. Finally, when the guy, the divine masculine in that show, when he got like his memory back, he remembered that like the love of his life was like Priyanka, and he was married to this other woman who was originally his enemy. Like he had tried to destroy this other woman, and he erased her memory because he just didn't trust her at all. He wanted to eliminate her. And then when he got his memory erased, he married that woman that he didn't like. And then when he finally got his memory back, he remembered that like the person that he'd been like in beef with and like, I don't know, on and off with, but he like was secretly feeling, was his first wife. Like he tried to propose to her, like he had a child with her. And like she knew that, like Priyanka knew the whole time, but like, you know, he didn't find out till later. It's this feeling of this, like even past the memory loss, I remember that you are my high priestess, and high priestess specifically as the one who already knew. Like I was saying, like Priyanka, her character in the show, she already knew. She knew that who he was. She knew that they had a child together. She knew that he proposed to her and wanted to marry her. She knew that they were in a relationship, that they already loved each other, but he didn't. And like he finally got his memory back, and he's like, oh shit. I'm walking on sunshine. I always remember that song. Whoa. It reminds me, for some reason, I don't even know if it was in this movie, but it reminds me of that movie Herbie Fully Loaded. There might be messages there for that movie. I like my hair, little bun. Oh, this looks like, I don't know, something about to explode. I'll leave that innuendo there. So kids are involved. Like I was saying about the example that I just gave for that show that I cannot remember. Watch, it won't even start with a T. It'll start with something else. Ugh, I'm annoyed. But like I said, like he remembered that he had a child with her. And I feel like the divine masculine is remembering like something about you and them having children, or there's something about that clicking for them. Yeah, like a little sign, a little wave, like saying, by the way, you have kids. And it kind of connects with the message I was saying about the mama bear and the papa bear, like the three little bears. Like, it was three of them. Like he's remembering, like, oh, it wasn't just me and mama bear, it was like the third. And that's why the Holy Trinity has been very important. It's like the parents and the child. It's like God, you know, the divine masculine, feminine merged of God, and then like the divine child, which is like, it's all in one, you know, the golden child. It's three, which is really just one. I'm ready to risk it all for you, baby. This kind of reminds me of like a James Dean vibe, but also like those early 2000s movies, and also like the 2010s movies, like that movie I Am Number 4. I don't know why I love that movie. When I go back and watch it, it's trash, but I still love that movie for what it could have been. And like also the number 4, which is like the title of this reading, 444. And with me mentioning 4 and today being August 4th, the movie I Am Number 4, like I'm ready to risk it all for you, baby. Like in that movie, the main character, the guy whose name was 4, he was like hiding his powers, and he could like shine light from his hands, but he was hiding it the whole time. And then finally, when his divine feminine in the show was attacked, he like let it rip, like his powers, and that's when he was exposed, like I think trying to protect her. And I don't know, it just came out, and he didn't care anymore. Like he'd risk being exposed. I think this has been something else with the divine masculine. I feel like a subconscious kind of click or like thing that they did to like protect themselves, because I don't know, you know what's it called, like when people suppress memories on purpose, but they don't do it on purpose. Like their bodies naturally suppress like trauma and events because they can't handle it, so they like click it off and they literally cannot remember what happened. I feel like this is what happened with some of the divine masculines, where they intentionally forgot things so that they could, I don't know, like function. A lot of trauma from their divine feminine being, you know, a trigger warning. I don't know. I feel like this whole thing could be triggering, but their divine feminine being raped and, you know, attacked and taken from them. And like they suppressed the memory because of that. But now they're ready to risk it all. So good news. Yeah, give this reading a thumbs up if you're watching still. Smooch. Smooch, smooch, smooch. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I feel like the word smooch is very like early 2000s. Did you hear this? What the hell is that? What is that sound? Go check. Go, Blue, go. Go. Go see, Blue. Go see what it is. Okay. The next one is, will you ever forgive me? I don't know. This is something, I don't know, with that sound. I feel like it was from the TV. I don't know what that sound was, but I feel like they might be like around you in sounds, songs, because they're peeking in and they're trying to see whether or not did you find anything? No. Go see. Go see. It's safe. Go see. They're trying to like peek in and like see if it's safe. And so they might be coming to you in like songs or things people say or phrases in books or phrases on windows, because they're trying to like see if you'll forgive them and if it's safe to come in, like if they're still first place accepted in your heart. I've always loved only you. This is very sweet. It reminds me of like The Notebook, especially like when they were the older couple, and it's like, look again, memory loss is in that movie, like a lot about memory loss. And it's like, I'll always only love you. Like I remember Allie in that movie when she was older and she had like it wasn't dementia, it's the other one, the memory loss one, even though dementia can have memory loss. Alzheimer's. And she was still playing the song that she played on the piano when they first went to the house. Like she was still playing those keys, even though she had forgotten who Noah was. Like she still was playing that music. Aw, sunny days, sunny days. Who's that by? Is that Boyz II Men? I pretended to be a pretender, but my heart beat for you, only for you. This is what I was saying again, like with the heartbeats synchronizing. Like if you feel like heart flutters or like suddenly your heart races out of nowhere, it's connecting to them. And like I said, a lot of realization. I feel like I was saying like it's a lot of suppression and them not being able to like hear their own intuition. And so they couldn't have known even though they knew. And it's like now they know that they were pretending. Like I've had my divine masculine, I don't know, I feel like he didn't believe himself, but like he believed that he believed, like when he would say like he doesn't feel the same way, and I'd be like, you know, I know that's a lie. But it's like, I don't know, he was pretending to be a pretender. Like it's like layers of like not being aware of, like sleeping. Don't know if that makes sense. That's what I'm giving for this one. Like these stars, like a dragon that was asleep for a long time, like under rubble or under dirt, under a hill, and like they forgot. And they forgot that they forgot. I prayed for you to find me. Look, I was just talking about like being hidden somewhere and you found him. This is also in that show that I was saying with Priyanka on Amazon Prime. She found him, and he ended up finding her, but I think it was like both. But like they found each other, and like once they found each other, then like the puzzle pieces start to click back together and they both got their memory back. Ooh, another reference to like the old presidents. So I don't know, something with like presidents, presidential stamps, I don't know. You Are Mine is the last card. So it's like I was saying in that Rumi Oracle card, I don't know, I think I put it away. But it was saying about like remembering and taking back like the cloak, is it called, or the gown, like reclaiming the gown and saying it's yours. The divine feminine, reclaiming the divine feminine as their divine feminine, because rejecting the divine feminine, rejecting your divine feminine is you're rejecting yourself. And I love this quote. I think it's from the Godfather movie, but I know it from Jay-Z. He was like, it's in the song Family Feud on his album 444. And it's like, a man who don't take care of his family can't be rich. I watched Godfather, I missed that whole shit. Like, it's like, you don't take care of you, like your family, then you'll always be like broken and kind of like missing pieces. Like you won't ever flourish, you won't ever feel happy and satisfied until you claim what is yours and protect what is yours. And it's not what's yours in that kind of like toxic masculinity, prideful kind of sense. It's what's yours in a natural birthright kind of sense. And that's what's happening with this magic wand. Tappity tap tap. This has been so much fun. I think that's it for tonight. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to sleep after this, but hopefully I'll be able to. I hope you like my glasses. I can't see. I'm not a very seeing person. I see with my third eye, but I'm really blind. Like, it's very blurry when I take off my glasses. And you know, like I said, I was about to go to sleep, but thank Blue for getting me energetically available. Yeah, please give a thumbs up. Please leave some comments. Please share. I think I'll have to like go make this public again, because for some reason when I exit these out, it saves it to private. So just wait for that. If you would like to donate, that will be in the description. It'll be there. It'll be in the description, the donation link. And I do personal readings if you'd like those that have different options. And thank you so much again. Thank you so much, especially to everybody who's been taking those leaps, because I can feel them in the senses. And this has been Queen Sensitivity, and I'll see you next time. Bye.